Welcome back, everybody. It's been a long
Hello.
month or 6 weeks since our last recording. I don't know. Who's got
It's
time?
been 6 weeks.
Who's got time to keep track of time? All I know is that welcome back to the Brian and Ryan Show.
I'm also known as the Geek Dad Report,
I-
as a lot of other people like to say.
Are we gonna fight about this every time we start this show? We retired the Geek Dad Report.
I think we should, because the Brian and Ryan show just doesn't roll like Geek Dad Report.
Are you still mad that we don't call it the Ryan and Brian Show?
No, because
That's what this is about, isn't it?
I don't think that it just rolls as well. So
B comes before
Too many-
R,
too many
and I
R's.
get 51% of the profits, and you get 49. So hence the Brian and Ryan Show.
I don't remember that clause in the contract, but we can circle back on that and see how it goes.
Tell you what, let's put a pin in it, and we'll talk about the Brian and Ryan Show later.
Okay.
All I know is that tonight, everybody, we have a fun show for everybody. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Like I said, it's been a little while since we've been recording. And, if you didn't know, by the way, I'm Brian, the hostess with the absolute mostest.
And I'm Ryan, the guy who is a lot later in my time zone than it is for Brian. So if I start to nod off, it's only because it's very late for me.
This is why you get 49%, because you fucking tell people you're going to fall asleep a minute into the show. Why would anybody stick around like, oh, well, if
I
Ryan...
think I actually only dozed off in one episode. Noticeably dozed
You
off.
have dozed off in
one
multiple
episode.
episodes. I just notice it better than most people do.
I just remember one time where I closed my eyes, and then I don't remember how long they were closed for, and then I opened it, and you were like...
There was an episode where X came on with us, and I looked over, and you were full on snoring. And I'm like, God damn it. I think I sent you a text so you'd wake up.
We should have X on again, and I'll be a lot more awake for an X.
Whatever.
X-ifer.
Whatever. Well, now that we've got the pleasantries out of the way, like I said, we got a full show for everybody. We got lots to talk about. We haven't seen everybody in a little while, and not a lot's happened, but let's see. HBO did finally drop the Snyder cut, which I got lots of thoughts to talk about. I think you do too. So, but yeah, we got Falcon and Winter Soldier. See, this weekend I think is the final. Tomorrow, well, when everybody watches this, it'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the final season finale. Yeah, they're only doing 6 episodes.
Oh man, my family's gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, I know. You know what the worst part is so we got WandaVision, right? Which we both liked. I mean, I think WandaVision got better as the show went on. I think it's kind of what we talked about last time, but I don't know if we discussed the finale when we were on our last show, but ultimately I ended up really liking the show. I liked the finale. And then we had to wait a week or 2 weeks, and then boom, we got Falcon and Winter Soldier. Well, what sucks is Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're not getting any more Marvel until Loki. And Loki comes in June. And then and then when Loki's over, I think the next week we get Black Widow.
So, my question for you is, before we roll into all the stuff, has Disney Plus brought back Friday family nights for you?
Oh, absolutely.
Like an event, we get pizza.
Oh my God! I didn't even think about
we'll get
that.
Ice cream and stuff like that, and we're like, all right, we're all pumped up.
Holy shit!
And we watched the Mighty Ducks show.
Oh, is that good? I want to watch that. Is it good?
Yeah, we've been enjoying it. And then we forced the kids to watch Mighty Ducks 1 and Mighty Ducks 2.
Do they hold up?
Which my oldest, because he's 13, and he's a cool kid now, and he's like, oh, I don't want to watch that. It's dumb. But then when when someone the parts where they're doing the silly hockey stuff, and I look over him and he's like, yeah, he was chuckling at the knuckle puck and stuff like that.
The Bash Brothers.
But no, yeah. So we've been doing Mighty Ducks. That's been good. Emilio Estevez. Yeah, I feel like he should be to me, he should be 80 years old now.
Dude, he looks great. He's got to be 55.
He looks better than some of my 40-year-old friends.
Nah, he's in his 40s.
Not 40. So.
No, he's got to be in his 50s, right?
I want to. Okay, so let's see. So he was Brat Pack.
Where's my phone? Oh, I don't. God damn it! I must have left my phone somewhere.
So he was in the Brat Pack in the 80s, and I think they were all teenagers. So yeah, he's got to be like 50 something.
Well, because I think he was in his 20s when I was in my teens. So let's say he's 10 years older than me. So it means he's at least I'm 42. It means he's at least like 52, 53.
But he's looking good.
Yeah, he looks great. He's got that Sheen DNA in him. He's got that tiger blood from his brother.
It's a fun show.
All right, I'll check it out.
It's nothing serious, just a fun family show. So
yeah, no, I wanted to watch it. It looked good. But yeah, I didn't even think about that because Friday nights were such a big deal growing up because that's when they had all the good sitcoms and Friday nights. Yeah.
Family Matters. Wait, was it Family Matters? Which one?
Yeah, it was Family Matters. I'm pretty sure Fresh Prince played on Fridays.
Yeah, Carl Winslow.
Dude, yeah, I didn't even think about that. It has been every Friday. The Mandalorian, every Friday, man. We have been sitting together as a family. In fact, when there's nothing on, my kids on Friday, I'll pick them up and they're like, what are we watching tonight? And I'm like, shit, I guess, I don't know. We'll have to find something.
It makes it fun. And it gives it, we'll just get pizza, and we'll sit in the living room and eat pizza and watch the show.
Well, and that's honestly because it's actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good point. I mean, Disney, they know what they're doing because, you think about it, what's the night that we've all gotten kind of accustomed to as adults looking forward to? Sunday nights, right? Because that's kind of the HBO shows, the Game of Thrones, the prestige television was always on Sunday nights, right? But Sunday night sucks. I hate watching shows on, Walking Dead. All these shows suck. They're all dramatic, and then you go to bed all with anxiety, and you got to go to work the next morning. I hate that. I love Friday nights way better. I like The Mandalorian on Friday nights. I like WandaVision. I like Falcon. We got the Bad Batch, I think, is the next show coming from Disney. But that's a Star Wars animated show, so I don't know if I'll get the family to watch that. But that's
kind of nice. I think if it was a different kind of Star Wars show, my whole family would be interested in it. But everybody's ready for Loki in my household. Mm-hmm.
Loki legit looks good.
Yeah. What is
Black Widow. Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go to the theaters, or are you gonna watch it at home?
It's just the movie. But what are they gonna have any other shows?
So they have Loki and then Black Widow, and then I know they're filming some stuff right now. I know some Star Wars shows.
COVID just up the whole time plan.
I feel like we're gonna have a few months where we're not getting. I know we get Shang-Chi in September. So I know Marvel's going to give us some movies later in the year. We get Eternals, I think, in November. And then it seems like what they want to do is kind of the fall is going to be Star Wars, right? So we'll get Bad Batch in May, and then we're going to get the Book of Boba in November. And then after Book of Boba's over, I believe we're going to get Mandalorian Season 3. But, I don't know. There's definitely going to be a small window there. I don't think we're going to have any Marvel shows. I'm sure Disney Plus has something up their sleeves. They are getting, to your point, they are getting people hooked to Friday night family nights again, and I can't imagine they're not going to give us something to keep that rolling, right?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of Disney shows coming, like there's a Betamax show, a Moana show. There's a lot of animated shows coming. I don't know if they'll throw those on Friday. I don't know if they have the same kind of prestige family shows, but I'm sure. I mean, the fact that they just dropped Mighty Ducks without a lot of fare, and they just kind of gave it to you, I think they've got a lot of shows coming. I'm just not sure exactly what they're... And I know they're filming like 10 Marvel shows. My guess is this will be the last year that we don't have either a Marvel or Star Wars show every Friday night to watch throughout the entire year.
Yeah.
So question, this is a little side thing, but it got brought up. I think I asked some people on our website, on our Brian and Ryan Show Facebook page, about somebody put out a poll like, what's your favorite streaming service? Netflix right now is still the king with the most subscribers, but Disney Plus is fastly closing that gap. But if you had to pick one, and honestly, I'm starting to get really used to HBO Max with their with the fact that I know this is a gimmick. I know that next year they're not going to drop their entire movie slate like they have this year. And to be honest with you, most of the movies that they dropped that were theatrical releases have not actually been that good. There's only been a couple that I'm like, I didn't watch Judas and the Black Messiah. I missed that one. I heard that one was really good. But like I watched the Denzel Washington Small Thing. That movie was trash. That was just
Oh,
terrible.
I put that on my watch list, but
It
we just
is
haven't got.
bad. Do not watch it. But I
My
watched
wife and I
the.
we can't watch like we can't deal with like heavy movies right now.
Yeah,
Like
well, I watched the
like
Tom and
for
Jerry
the last
movie. That was pretty trash,
yeah
but I enjoyed it. Whatever.
yeah like the last couple of weeks it's just been like we just been trying to find like comedies and just lighthearted shows because we just can't deal with heavy.
Well, I mean that's when Kong versus Godzilla. That was perfect for that. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I have to. Here's my quick. I don't want to talk too much about that movie, but here's my quick review of Kong versus Godzilla. It had some of the best like special effects and action monster fighting I've ever seen. However, the movie is probably the dumbest movie I've ever watched in my entire life.
Oh yeah.
But I
They
did.
had to shoehorn the two characters from Godzilla King of Monsters with
It.
literally zero plot
If you want
point
to watch
in
a
my
better movie, watch.
zero reason
Yeah.
zero reason for them to be in the movie.
Yeah, if you want to watch a
No
better
re-
movie, just watch Kong Skull Island. That is actually a really good movie. The newer one that came out a few
Yeah.
years ago with Sam Jackson. But yes, but I will say this: there was more than one part when I was like, I was like, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
There's some good
Anytime
shit
Kong
in that
rips
movie.
someone's head off, basically.
Yeah, but here's the best part. So I'm watching it at home. I got the big screen and I got the Sonos surround sound. I had that shit crank so loud it was like a theater. My neighbors the
Yeah.
next day were like, "Were you watching Kong versus Skull Island?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" They're like, "We could hear it in our living room." I'm like, "Yes." I was like, "Hey, you're
Awesome.
vaccinated. Next time, come on over. You can come sit on my couch and watch it with us."
So my son and I watched Kong versus or Godzilla versus Kong, and just like every time there was a monster fight, we were both just keyed in and just making noises, and we're like, we were both on Team Kong.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. My
Anytime
trader kids were on Godzilla's
the
team. What a bunch of
military,
punks.
yeah, anytime the militaries try to jump in to attack Godzilla and stuff, but why don't they learn their lesson? Their missiles and guns do nothing. Like, why are they still? It's just so they could have like special effect. And my son was just like, why are they wasting time shooting at Godzilla? He kills everything and he can't get hurt. So did they make a better bomb? Is this bomb gonna hurt him? Probably not. And so he was just getting pissed off every time he's like, humans are dumb. I'm like, yeah, true.
Yeah, the human element in this was, I mean, and the physics were just mind blowing. Like when Kong is standing on the aircraft carrier, how is that aircraft carrier holding his weight? He's riding it like a surfboard. Yeah. I mean, whatever. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was when Godzilla pops up out of the water and Kong just smashes him right in the face. I was like, oh. And I like that they don't waste no time, right? They're just like, listen, you're going to get like 3 or 4 fights and you're going to get them quick. But I mean, I think clearly the dumbest thing in the movie though is a small spoiler, everybody. If you could spoil anything, but when they go to the center of the Earth, where's the fucking light source coming from? How is it sun shining in the center of the Earth?
It's hollow Earth. It's hollow Earth. Nothing makes sense down there. But
and then there's this weird random axe.
Snake thing.
Whatever. Anyway, I don't care. The movie's dumb as hell, but it was fun. But what I was saying is like, HBO Max they've got me, man. I've gotten so used to going like, ooh, what new movies do they have? That I'm on that app all the time. Like I use HBO. So basically I turn on my TV. I got rid of most of my cable. I still have I downsized my cable package and my cable box. So I mean, I do have cable, but I don't even know the last time I turned on a cable show. The only thing I'm watching on cable right now is Superman and Lois, and they're on break, so I'm not even watching. I'm watching nothing on cable. So I turn on my smart TV, and then I usually go. First thing I do is I go to HBO Max. Well, I go to my Apple TV. I go to HBO Max, see if there's anything on there, and then from there I go to probably to Netflix. And then after that, I usually just end up hitting Disney Plus and trying to watch Clone Wars or something. I mean, like so. What's your favorite app so far? I mean, I know Netflix is kind of king and it's been around for a long time, but I'm kind of finding myself like I use Disney Plus every day.
Yeah, we have like our kids like kind of cycle through like different shows. Like right now, they're really into Young Sheldon, and that's on HBO Max. We went through the entire series of The Middle on HBO Max. So we've been using HBO Max to kind of watch like entire like series of older shows. And sometimes like honestly, the only reason why I use Netflix now these days.
Hey, wait a second. Are you still using my HBO Max password? Allegedly.
No.
Oh, you have your own?
I don't use yours.
Somebody's using my password.
No,
I don't know who, because I've told people to set up their own profiles if I were to give out my password, which I don't. But if I did, I'd tell the people to use their own password profiles, because I've started to get. Do you hate it like when you loan somebody a password and then like your algorithm's all fucked up and it's like now playing and like, wait a minute, I'm not watching this. Who's been on my profile?
We had shared our Netflix with my in-laws, and I'd be like trying to use, like, my kids would be watching a movie, and then like I would go to use it, and they're like, "All your screens are currently in use." And I was like, "What? I've only got like one kid watching something," and I look and like, my in-laws are using the account, but they finally got their own account. But
apparently, the
only one the Voodoo account. That's the only one that but I don't even use that anymore.
Yeah.
Unless we got a WB movie.
Oh, but, dude, I've got like 400 movies on there.
I use Netflix to watch Star Trek, Deep Space Nine.
I watched that on. I got all that. I got CBS Paramount Plus now. So I've been watching Discovery on that. That's it. They don't have a lot on there. That's pretty good service.
I just have it because I work at my desk all day, so I just have it like on. Just it's like my white noise. But my wife and I we'll watch HBO Max, or we watch a lot of PBS shows because we do the PBS monthly thing. So we watch a lot of like British dramas and
watch some Bridgerton and some
all like
Crown.
The genealogy shows that are on there.
Yeah, I have to.
I said, we're not into heavy stuff right now. Like, we just try to watch like lighthearted comedies and stuff like that.
Dude, we started watching Dusk Till Dawn. My HBO's starting to get me now. They recommended Dusk Till Dawn on my HBO Now account. I'm like, ooh.
Peaky Blinders. Have you watched Peaky Blinders?
No, I've heard that's really good. I want to watch that.
So my wife and I, we went through. We have 2 episodes left to get caught up on the entire series. It is effing amazing.
Okay, I'll check it out. Have you watched? It's just started. Have you watched Mayor of Easttown yet? The new HBO show.
Which one?
It's called Mayor of Easttown. It's a drama. It's a limited series. It's based on a book. It's with Kate Winslet.
No, I haven't watched it.
Check it out. It's really good. They've only done 1 episode so far, but man, it's good.
Beartown on HBO.
I've heard that's good. That's the hockey one, right? The Swedish. Is it in subtitles?
One, but it's all in Swedish.
Yeah, you know what? I've tried to watch.
We didn't know.
I've heard it's good.
We were gonna we turned it on and we didn't know it was gonna be dubbed like the whole thing. And we watched the first episode and we talked about it like, okay, let's just give it another episode. And we'll just it's all in Swedish, so and we're used to using closed captions.
Yeah. See, that's my problem. I hate closed captions. I hate reading when I'm watching TV.
Yeah. But it's a good show.
Yeah, I've heard it.
But it ends kind of weird. Like the last 30 minutes of the final episode, you're like, okay, that was an interesting way to go with that.
I've heard there's some really good. I know there's some really amazing foreign shows. I just can't get into it. I can't get into the dubs and I can't get into the subtitles. So I'm just like
that Parasite movie that won all the awards.
I didn't watch that.
I can't. It's just too much.
But yeah, I have to say, for me, I think HBO. I started checking out the new.
I'm right there with you on that one. That one's we've been using that a lot.
Yeah, I also started checking out The Nevers. It's a new HBO show. I enjoy the show. I have a hard time with it though because it's created and directed by Joss Whedon, who's a big piece of shit right now. So, pretty much forever. But we found out recently he's kind of a big piece of shit. But I'm kind of enjoying the show, so I don't know what HBO's planning on doing with that one. But
we have a Hulu account, and we've been the last couple of days. We realized that we haven't watched network TV in 8 months.
I have Hulu, but
why we keep paying for a Hulu account? We don't even use it. So
Hulu Hulu is my last option. Like, I always forget that I even have Hulu, and I'm like, oh, which is weird because I find some good shows on Hulu and movies.
You know why I have Hulu? Because I got the Disney Plus bundle, and that way I can get ESPN Plus, so I can watch a whole bunch of sports stuff.
I only have Hulu because I gave a friend my HBO password, and he gave me his Hulu password, and he has Stars on Hulu. But I always forget I have it. So I mean, I don't know. I'd have to say probably right now, HBO Max is definitely whittling its way into my brain as far as one of my favorite streaming services. But for me, honestly, it's Disney Plus. I know they don't have as much new stuff, and I know that they don't. They don't have nearly as many shows or new movies, but what they do have is a massive catalog of things that I can watch when, like, I'm trying to go to sleep.
31 seasons of The Simpsons, Brian.
Dude, they have an entire page dedicated to Star Wars, an entire page dedicated to Marvel. So, like, before I go to bed every night, I'm still working through the Clone Wars. I mean, it's been great. I watch Disney Plus every single day. Every day. Yeah. I have all the Star Wars movies downloaded on my iPad just in case I need them, and I have them. Like,
I've been watching. So I stopped watching The Simpsons really after like high school. Mm-hmm. Like I just grew out of it, and I just kind of stopped watching the show. So in the last couple months, I've just been picking, pick a season and then just watch an episode or two. They still got it, going from how it used to be, but I just kind of did it more for the nostalgic factor. But I've been trying. My son and I have been trying to get to Clone Wars so we can get on to Rebels and all that stuff.
I'm on season 5, so I've got a couple more seasons to go before Bad Batch. But
there's just so many episodes of Clone Wars per season.
And only about half of them are really good. The other half are real like. Fall asleep on, but I don't care, man. It's just something to watch. It's something I can watch before I go to bed, and it makes me happy. And I'm sure their catalog is going to get much bigger. They're going to have better movies and a lot of other stuff coming soon. But totally lost my train of thought there. But yeah, but in the Netflix,
so have you guys been paying for the movies that before they're doing like the dual theater release? But
we paid for Mulan, which I enjoyed Mulan. We didn't pay for Raya. Somebody actually, one of my friends had bought it and let me watch his, which I'm glad. I didn't mind Raya and the Last Dragon. It was okay. I didn't think it was worth $30. Black Widow, I was asking you earlier, that's kind of the next big one. What's your plans? Are you going to go to the theater, or are you gonna pay $30 and watch Black Widow at home?
If I went into a movie theater, my wife would not let me back in the house. So,
and that's the problem. So me and my wife are both vaccinated. Our kids obviously are not because they can't be vaccinated. When things were sounding like they were getting better, we were like, okay, maybe Black Widow would be the first movie we go. And now it seems like things are kind of getting bad again. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't mind going, but I don't necessarily want to expose the kids.
Yeah. And that's not a movie that you can go without your girls. So
yeah, and plus I got a nice big TV and surround's nice. I paid a lot of money for a nice surround sound system, and it's only $30.
The movie's only $26 or something?
Yeah, $29.99 supposedly.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much how much you pay for one seat.
We were talking because we had a few other friends who were vaccinated, and we were talking about maybe doing the thing where you rent the movie theater out.
Yeah.
Because if we can get a couple families, because I think you have 20 people. So I got some friends. I got a few other friends who are vaccinated. So we figured if we could split it 3 ways, and it was like $200, that's what, $68. That's not terrible. That's about what it would cost to go to the movies anyway.
Yeah. You could do like what, $12, $15 a person. So
yeah. So I think we might do. I don't know. We'll see. I would really like to get back to the theaters. I do enjoy having this multi-release. It's probably the reason why I signed up for Paramount Plus. Is they're going to, I think 30 days after they release the movie in theaters, they're going to stream them on Paramount TV. So I do like the multi-release for a lot of the movies that I wouldn't see in the theaters, but now I don't have to wait a year to see them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, and then there's always Netflix. I don't watch Netflix that much just because my problem with Netflix is they give you too much stuff. It's just too much.
We went to Netflix last night. and we're like, okay, we'll just find something to watch on Netflix.
Yeah.
Click down, like, oh, let's look at this top 10 thing. Nope, don't care about any of those. Let's go to our wait list or our
Yeah.
watch list. Like, no, we don't want to watch any of that.
They're terrible at
It's
about
clearly
telling you what's new.
overwhelming. You're right. It does feel like there's too many options and it's overwhelming. Like, well, what do we want to watch? Comedies? Well, they have like 7 different categories of comedy.
They're really bad about telling you what they've just released. Their algorithm, if you've ever watched anything randomly, it just all of a sudden half your feed is just random stuff. And I'm just I only go to Netflix now.
We were talking about it the other night. We were saying, well, aren't they supposed to be doing like one movie a week or something like that?
Yeah, they were supposed to, but I don't know what they're releasing. All I know is I only go to Netflix if I specifically know exactly what I want to watch. So it's like, the new season of Lucifer's on Netflix. Go to Netflix. Yeah. I use the hell out of that Just Watch app.
Yeah, the one movie that you want to watch is only streaming on Netflix. All right, we're going to Netflix to watch it.
Like I said, I use the hell out of that Just Watch app because it.
I know, isn't that nice?
Dude, it's so nice. What do I want to watch? Oh, it tells you even what all the new shows are. Oh, cool. What channels is on? There we go. Okay. All right, enough about that. I don't think there's any news we want to talk about. So we had a couple things we want to talk about. I know we want to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know we wanted to talk about Justice League. And then we have a bunch of questions. We actually put up a questioner post, so we had some questions people wanted us to answer tonight. So what do you want to do? You want to do Falcon first, or do you want to talk about Justice League?
Let's do Falcon second. So let's do Justice League first.
Oh, cool. So so Justice League, the long rumored, highly anticipated, at least among some of us, Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League finally came out about a month ago, and it was 4 hours, and
felt like a completely different movie.
I was in the bag for this from the beginning because I'm a big Zack Snyder fan. But so before I give you my take on this, Ryan, what did you think of Zack Snyder's Justice League?
It kind of dragged in a couple of parts, but it honestly, 4 hours was a long time. It's for a dad with kids and a wife to try and block off. Like, I was able to get, I think, around 2.5 hours before like my family just completely, like, I had to stop and like try and finish it at a different point. But other than that, I loved the heck out of it. I mean, it felt like a completely different.
I mean, the plot points
did not.
The plot points are roughly the same, but it's like it's like saying I love apple pie. And it's like getting one of those. Remember those old McDonald's apple pies they used to get that were really hot, didn't taste that good, and just burnt the face. It's like that is an apple pie, or you get one of those home baked, super great Dutch apple pies. That's also an apple pie. It's the same thing technically.
Yeah. One of them is going to give you John, and one is going to do a crazy Batman dream sequence. That you see that and you're like, why would you do that to us? And there's no guarantee that this is going forward. Why would you give that? Why?
I know a lot of people hated the Joker tag at the end. I thought it was great. There wasn't a single thing about this movie I didn't like. I enjoyed all 4 hours and 2 minutes of it. I enjoyed the credit sequences. I enjoyed everything about this movie. Okay, so you really liked it?
I love that. I love the way that the different way how the fights ended.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and just a spoil if you've seen it yet, we're gonna spoil the shit out of this. Yeah, so if you haven't watched it yet, shame on you. So the whole dark side stuff was just better, I have to say. I will say the only thing that I didn't think was necessarily better about the dark side is when, I don't think they originally, that whole Steppenwolf's, that whole scene where he comes to Earth way along in the Age of Heroes, I don't think that was originally Darkseid. I actually think that they decided to make that Steppenwolf and from the beginning, and then when Zack Snyder had the ability to do 4 hours, I think he wanted more Darkseid and put Darkseid in that spot, just because Darkseid seemed to, as powerful as Darkseid is, he seemed to get taken out pretty easy by those guys. Yeah.
That was my only like.
Yeah,
I mean, it was cool to see Darkseid, but I didn't really. But I mean, that was a small complaint.
And then the Batman Dream sequence that was setting up.
Injustice.
I cannot say it.
Injustice.
Injustice. That's right. And honestly, how bad do you want to see that Injustice movie now? I mean,
listen, I don't want to see anything that's not direct.
Rad?
I don't want to see any of these new DC movies at all anymore.
I don't want to see anything that's not the Zack Snyder universe. That's what I want. I want to tell DC.
Like, I want the Batman Deathstroke.
Don't try.
I mean, the fact that we were going to get a Ben Affleck directed Batman Deathstroke movie, and they decided to scrap it because they want Shazam 7, it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. I get that this universe is not for everybody, but it's something different than Marvel, and I love it. I think it's great. We spent did you have anything else? Yeah. Because once I start, I'm going to just roll like a train. Was there anything else you want to say?
DC could have the Kevin Feige equivalent of someone who's like, this is what we're going to do. The studios 100% got my back, and they're going to just let me roll. Yeah. Let me just go in this direction, and we're going to plan it all out, so the studio's happy, but this is the direction we're going to go for the next 20 years. Well, if DC could do that, they would overtake Marvel.
Yeah, easily. Their characters are just better. They have better characters than Marvel does. Yeah.
My 13-year-old son says the exact same thing. He's like, honestly, Dad, I like the DC characters a lot better because they're not like as weird and fantastic. Like he said, they seem realistic to me.
Yeah, they're not throwing quips left and right. I mean, they're just you know. And listen, and I'm not
Marvel movies are fun. They're enjoyable. Everyone you can laugh and and all that stuff. And you can do that in some of the DC movies too. But the DC movies just they tap that part of me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it, but they tap me in a better way.
Well, and that's the thing is like, listen, Marvel is fantastic. You're not going to find somebody who loves the Marvel movies more than I do. Yeah. I think they're great. But I think DC's big problem was they wanted to be Marvel, right? They decided after Batman v Superman didn't quite make the money they thought it would, and a lot of people complained about the darker tones. They tried to course correct, and in my opinion, it was a disaster because, Zack Snyder, everything he does isn't perfect. He's not the best storyteller out there. His scripts sometimes tend to be a little weak. But visually, he gets these characters, and thematically, he gets these characters. He understands what the essence of these DC characters are, and he had a vision for what they were going to do. Yeah, was it flawed at times? Absolutely. Like, listen, I watched Batman v Superman recently, and I love it, but there was definitely some stuff that you're just like, okay, whatever. But at least he had an idea and a vision, and he was taking them on. He was telling us a story. Now, I will say this. He's probably never going to get a chance to make anything else for DC, at least in the DC universe, and that's okay. He did a good job. I will say Justice League at least does a good job of kind of giving Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League. He tells a story arc. It's not completely finished, but you can watch those three movies and feel like your story is mostly completed, and you had there's always going to be a lot of like, oh, what could have been, but at least you're satisfied with what you got, right? Which you could not say that before with the other Justice League. It was just a big pile of steaming shit. And, but the thing about, so I'm going to set you up with what we did with my family. So we watched, I told my wife, I want to watch Justice League. I am so excited for this movie. I'm going to watch it this weekend when it comes out. I cannot wait. It's 4 hours long. If you can't watch it, I understand. But I'm going to turn the Sonos up to 10. I'm going to get the theater experience, and I'm going to watch this thing. Yeah. And she's like, no, it's fine. I'll watch it with you. And she goes, but I don't really remember the other one. So I was like, okay, well, if you want, we can watch. So we did. So she'd never seen the director's cut of Batman v Superman either. And so we sat down, we watched Man of Steel as a family on Friday night. On Saturday morning, we got up and we watched Batman v Superman, the director's cut. And then Saturday night, we watched Justice League. That was a lot of DC, a lot of Snyder. And I can honestly say, watching it with her, it's hard. Her attention span is not like mine. Like she likes these characters. She likes Wonder Woman. She likes Superman. But she's not like a super nerd like we are, right? Where it's just like, when Martian Manhunter showed up and I squealed, she's like, "What? What happened? Who is that? What's going on?" But
what's that guy changing?
Yeah. Why is that cool? And but I actually like that for the context of what I'm about to say. So watch Batman v Superman, and she was like, I understand that movie so much more now when we watch the director's cut. She goes, but it was long. And I'm like, on rewatch, yeah, it definitely is. The middle really drags a little bit of that movie. However, I will say this. When I watched Justice League, if you do not watch the director's cut of Batman v Superman, Justice League does not have the impact that it would if you did. And it makes Batman v Superman a better movie. I didn't think that'd be possible, but it is. Like, you watch that, it circles back around to some of the themes between Batman and Superman and Lois and Lex and all these characters, and it makes so much more sense, right? Like, when Superman accepts who he is and he's back, right? And he's just... it all plays back into the Batman v Superman stuff. So we sat down, we watched Justice League. We ended up not watching it. I had a couple other friends who'd been vaccinated, and they wanted to come over, and we're like, okay, cool. Because... they wanted to listen to it on the theater sound, and so I was like, all right, so we watched it. So we didn't even start it we did not start this movie till 9:00 p.m.
Seriously?
We watched it with the kids, with everybody. We took exactly 2 breaks because people had to pee. Other than that, nobody stopped. They would not take their eyes off the TV. And we got done, and Holly looks at me and she goes, "Okay, that was a pretty good movie." I'm like, yeah. She's like, "Why do people not like this? Why is he not directing another movie?" She's like the Wonder Woman scene is so incredible. When you see Wonder Woman, the additional scenes, like so many of the scenes are kind of the same, but just better. And it's just like the little girl is like, "Can I be like you when you grow up?" And she's like, "You can be anything you want to," but it felt earnest. It didn't feel like campy or tacked on. Like, it's just... Mm-hmm. Everything about this movie is incredible. And I think, and I think some of it had to do with the sound. I don't know what kind of sound system you have set up, but having the Sonos Dolby Digital Dolby Atmos surround sound really made a huge difference. Like, it felt like you were in the theater, and every time Superman punched Steppenwolf, you felt it, right? The whole room would vibrate. And it was just, the movie, I could spend a whole hour breaking down all the things I liked about the movie, but what I'll say is about this. I didn't think it'd be possible. He made every single character better in this. Even from characters you didn't even give a shit about, like Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf in this movie feels like an actual villain, like a real somebody you should actually be scared of. He's terrifying. I know a lot of people made fun of his armor, but I think his armor's awesome. The way it moves and shimmers, and it just seems like he's going to murder you.
Well, and it just showed you how bad of a choice Joss Whedon was.
Oh my god!
To come in and try to wrap up the movie, and that his street cred at the time was the only thing that he really had going for him.
Yeah, he was such a poor choice. I just don't understand how you could make all these characters somehow worse. Like, Cyborg is incredible. The fact that they decided to cut 90% of his story and him from the movie is just... it's insane. It's just insane. I don't know how you could watch that original cut and be like, "Oh, this is the guy that needs to go." Superman is better. First of all, he doesn't have a rubber face, which is incredible. But just like even the fight scene when he fights the Justice League is better. It's just like Superman seems dangerous. You're like, "Oh my god, this guy doesn't know who he is. We've made a mistake."
Yeah.
They have the same scene where the Flash realizes Superman can see him, but it's just better. He does it better. And it's so much... Aquaman is better. Wonder Woman, every time she comes on and they hit the and you're just like, yeah. Wonder Woman doesn't do anything that isn't badass in this movie. And this is a spoiler if you haven't watched it, but it's tough shit. When she cuts off Steppenwolf's head at the end of that movie, I was like, whoa! Yeah!
Yeah.
Aquaman stabs him.
Dude,
Superman
like
comes with the flying
everything...
Superman death punch, and Wonder Woman just slow motions flips and chops his head off. I'm like, this is the... And then they all have an epic stare down with Darkseid, including Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman, he made Batman. Batman's a different character in this than he was in the original Justice League. This is the most Batman I've ever seen Batman, and Ben Affleck is the best Batman in any Batman movie in Justice League. I mean, he's Batman. He's actually Batman.
Oh, and I don't like any, I mean, like, it's be interesting to see the Robert Pattinson version, but
yeah, I'm excited to see that.
Batman going forward, like, I don't know, Ben Affleck is kind of my Batman now.
Dude, he is my Batman.
I mean, it was Christian Bale. Like, I thought he was, like, a really awesome Batman, but now it's like, oh, man, I think Ben Affleck is my Batman.
Dude, I actually believe, like, when he punches... I also believe that, like, when he punches something, they go down. Like, he's a monster, dude. I'm just... Yeah. It was... like I said, I could talk about it all night long. It was incredible.
Yeah. We got to move on.
It is officially my new Airplane movie. Listen, 4 hours is a long time. I don't know how many times I'll be able to rewatch this movie just because it is hard to find 4 hours to sit down and watch it. But I'm going to download it on my iPad next time I hop on a plane.
Around 2 hour mark is kind of a natural breaking point.
Well, they actually did a pretty good job of. I like the way he did the chapters. The way he divvied up into 6 chapters. You could actually just watch it in 6 chapters.
Yes,
if you were
true. I forgot about that. You could do it on one of the chapter breaks.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. Like I said, my kids all have like ADD, and they sat and watched the entire movie, and they were like, "This is the best movie we've ever seen." And I'm like,
I agree. There's no topping it.
Yeah, there is nothing that DC
if you haven't watched it yet, and we haven't spoiled it for you, go to HBO Max right now and watch the Snyder Cut. You will not be sad.
Yeah, and I don't even care. I know people are complaining about the IMAX cap, whatever. The way the screen was pushed in, I don't even care.
Go cry, River.
Yeah, it is incredible. If they ever release this in the theaters, I'm gonna go see it in the IMAX. I don't care. It's I can honestly say this. I don't see anything that DC is going to do in the near future that is going to top what they've done with Justice League. Everything from now on will be a disappointment compared to what we got.
You know what was not a disappointment, though? It was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Brian.
Ryan, that's what we call on the biz. A fan-fucking-tastic transition.
Delivered.
All right.
That is what the... what, 5 hours now of what could have been a 2-hour movie. They extended to 5 glorious hours.
And we're going to get
I'm loving it.
In 6 episodes. Yeah, so we've watched the first 5 episodes. I don't want to do, there's plenty of people who have broken down the show episode by episode, so I don't necessarily want to break it down.
We don't need to do that.
So what is the thing, I guess, how about this? Let's talk about what the thing we've been the most excited about on this show, the thing we've been the most disappointed about, and maybe the thing that surprised us the most about this show.
So I want to say the first thing about this show is that my family, and I hate if people talk during a show or a movie or anything like that. It's just, I want to like start smashing things. But my family asks a lot of questions during the show, and we have like a lot of discussion during the show. And one of the things that come up, like, not like it's like, what is Captain America? And that's kind of like what we've been talking about. And not that Steve Rogers or what's his face, the new guy, like, just like, what is the symbol?
What does it mean to be Steve Rogers? Yeah, what does it mean to be Captain America?
Yeah, what does it mean to be Captain America? Like, you're representing your country, and you're trying to represent and be an embodiment of what, not capitalism, because that's not all America is about, but just trying to like be a good embodiment of what can be good in this world.
A shining beacon to the world.
Yeah, and we've had some really interesting conversations, centered around that, and that's what I've been kind of enjoying the most out of the show, and finding out that just because your name, the Department of Defense said that you're the new Captain America, does not make you
John,
America.
speaking of things that I've liked the most about this show, Wyatt Russell, man. John Walker, I cannot believe how much I've hated him, yet felt bad for him this entire show.
Yes.
He is crushing it as a guy who you just want to punch in his face. But like when he's giving his speech at the end about like when the Department of Defense just totally throws him to the wolves, he's like, "You can't do this. You made me. I did exactly what you told me to do, what you taught me to do." And they're just like, "Nah, you got to go. You got caught, bro. You made us look bad. You got caught. You got to go."
You're not Steve Rogers. We were looking for Steve Rogers 2.0.
Well, and what the show's really hammered home is that, Steve Rogers was, this show's really kind of been an indictment. I guess I'm gonna creep into what surprised me the most a little bit territory here. Is this show's really been an indictment about what America is versus what people want it to be, right? So like Steve Rogers was the ideal of all of us that we think like this is what America is. We do the right thing and we help people and we
Let me turn this chair around and sit on it and talk to you.
talk to you about like, so you're going through some changes. But but in reality, what Steve Rogers really was what made him a superhero wasn't the serum or the shield. What made him a superhero was the fact that he was an unrelenting good person who always did the right thing, right? No matter
all
what
the serum does is bring out what's inside of you and
already
makes
there.
It
and so
big.
And so what we realize is and so what did we do? Sam, we'll get into Sam in a minute, but Sam rejects the shield because he doesn't think he's worthy of it. Or he doesn't want that responsibility, and he does what he thinks is right. And instead, as a monument to Steve, instead what the government does is say, oh, well, we finally got rid of that goody two-shoes Steve Rogers. Now let's put in a real soldier. And they did, and he takes the serum and does what real soldiers do. They do things that are they do things that are ugly and get your hands bloody, and maybe not things they want to do, but things they have to do.
Not just your hands bloody, but you get your shields bloody too.
That will always be burned in my mind. The blood on the bottom of Captain America's shield.
Like after he just took it and just
it's just like that. I mean, the difference between these two, we could go all day. Steve Rogers used the shield as protection. This guy immediately uses it as a weapon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I mean, like I said, John Walker is, he's been great. Like I hate him. And his poor buddy was marked for death like the moment he first.
He does a great job of being a guy that you like in the beginning. You kind of you couldn't tell if you wanted to feel sorry for him, or if he just he's just trying his best, given the situation. But then as you get to learn more about the character, and he really doesn't have any remorse for what he did, as a secret ops. Guy, and
he didn't like it, but he didn't feel bad about it necessarily.
Yeah, and then it just shows that as he keeps escalating, as he keeps trying and failing every time he's Captain America. Falcon and Winter Soldier are, they're getting the stuff taken care of, and he's getting up to their point, but then he fails again. Yeah, and he just can't take it.
One of the other things that I really liked about this is, besides John Walker, I've really liked his character arc. I really liked, I don't know if I want to put this in the surprise. I won't put this in the surprise. I want to put this in what's been best about this. A couple things. Baron Zemo is incredible. He's only in a few episodes, so, he's only been in a couple episodes, but he is just... he steals every single scene, and I think they're gonna build the Thunderbolts, but we can talk about it at the end, like what we think they're gonna do, kind of going forward. The other things I really liked about this is when I went into this, one of the things that I in the comic books, Bucky and Sam both were Captain America at some points, right? And I always thought like Captain America would pass on the shield to Bucky. He already has the super soldier serum. He was the first one to take Captain America's mantle in the comic books before Falcon did. I thought that was a natural progression, especially and I liked Falcon, but he was always a sidekick in the movies, right? Like, the idea of him being Captain America is like, really? And one of the things I've really liked about this show is they've shown the evolution. From the beginning, he's gone from sidekick in the beginning, even to Bucky almost, to now we've gotten to this point, like, you're like, oh, okay, I see it now. I see he's going to be great Captain America. Like, they've done a great job with the character development of Sam and Bucky in this. Because I always like Bucky more than I like Sam. But now, through this series, like, I like them both equally. I love what they've done with both these characters. I love the development that they've done with both these characters. And I'm ready for whatever Bucky's going to do next. And I'm really excited to see Sam as Captain America in this final episode, I'm guessing.
I like how they did what it means to be a black Captain America.
Well, here, we'll get into that in a second. We'll talk about it in a second. I want to talk about that and kind of what surprised me the most. But I love the character development of what they've done with these characters, with the main characters, right? You know, John Walker, Sam.
The main characters are great. The show is super fun. It's like we were talking about at the very beginning. This is our Friday night show right now.
Well, and lastly, the things that I've really loved about this show is they've finally, between WandaVision and especially in this one, they've turned these into comic books, right? Mm. Like, this last episode, we had a huge, 20 minutes dedicated to Bucky and Sam fixing a boat, right? Yeah. And just little details like there's a nut that needs to be loosened, but Sam can't do it because it's on too tight, so Bucky grabs it and he does it. And then Sam looks at him and he's like, why don't you just use your metal hand? And he's just like, oh, well, I'm right-handed, so I just forget about it sometimes. Like, these are such good character moments, and these are things you get in the comic books, right? These are things you get when you read these stories on pages versus a 2-hour movie. And I just love, just like when Sam's like, don't flirt with my sister. I mean, there was so much there that was so good, and I loved it. It's just, they've taken the time. They've literally taken these stories that we like, and they're getting us from point A to point B and getting us ready for the movies, but they're telling a story that you could only read in comic books before, and now we get it in these 6-issue limited series runs, right? And I think it's really cool. I think Marvel...
They're adding so many layers and depth to it, so that so the next time we see Wanda in a movie, we got 8 hours.
Yeah, think about it.
Stuff that we're like, I get what she's going to be doing, like, in this movie. And maybe next time we see Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're like, I get now, like, 100%. I understand, like, everything what they're doing in this movie, and that's going to feel so cool.
But here's the thing, though. So, like, and it's not just because some people might say, oh, well, yeah, of course, it's a television show. But that's not what they've done. And I'll get into a little bit about some of the things I haven't liked, with the television stuff, but it's not just television, right? Most television, we've watched The Flash. The Flash has a formula. Every week you do an episode, you do a villain, you do these things and you tell a bigger story. But that's not what they're doing. They're literally giving us the comic book experience. Anybody who's never read a comic book, take them from people who have, that is what it's like. What we are watching each week is what it's like to grab your weekly issue of comics and keep reading. And they throw in extra characters like Lady Hydra. I forget her whole name. What's her real name?
Sandra de la Foya Fontana.
Yeah. Veep with a purple streak.
Oh, and for sure, but only in your head.
I mean, she's a huge character. So this is what they do in the comics. At the very end of a comic book, they'll introduce some character that's been in a whole bunch of other comic books, and you're like, ooh, what's got and it's just that has been really cool, and I think that's been great. Okay, so let's move on. Surprising. You already kind of mentioned it. One of the things that surprised me, I think, the most about this show is that they unapologetically are asking the question, what is the black experience in America, and can a black man represent America and be Captain America? And I did not think they were going to ask that.
I did not see that one coming, honestly.
Marvel their movies have always been fairly neutral when it comes to, anything. I don't want to say like politics or whatever, but just anything deeper issues, deeper questions about existence and life in America. In fact, they've stayed so far away from it for so long that one of the big criticisms people had of Avengers Endgame is when all the girls got together and they're like, we got this, and everyone's like, oh, it's forced, it's tacked on. It's because Marvel's strayed so far from any of that when they do try to put it together, it has felt like a little bit forced, right? And so I wasn't expecting, I didn't think they would completely ignore it. I mean, Black Captain America is a big deal, right? I mean, but I did not think that they would make this show. Yeah, I did not think that they would make this show fundamentally about America as an identity, like as an ideal, and how we've treated Black Americans, and can a Black American actually be Captain America, right? You know, like, you know, they introduced Isaiah. You know, he was kind of he was after Steve Rogers went into the ice. They tried to make more super soldiers, and he was one of the people experimenting on, and where, you know, his friends, I like the symmetry of the stories too. Like, he had a whole bunch of his friends who were super soldiers who got stuck behind a line in Korea, and they told him he couldn't do anything about it, but he disobeyed orders and he went and rescued them. And what did he get for that? He got locked in prison for 30 years and basically thrown away and experimented on. Think about Captain America, the first Avenger. How did Steve Rogers become Captain America? They were putting him on a dog and pony show. He was a PR stunt until Bucky and his friends got captured, and he disobeyed orders and went and rescued them. And they didn't lock him away. Instead, they promoted him and made him Captain America, right? Yeah. A white, blonde, blue-eyed guy.
Like, they gave him his little crew, and they got to go and, you know, kick Nazis in the face.
I mean, that is so damning, and it's, you know, and it's so true. I mean, anybody who's looked into or lived in America, or if you're outside of this country, looked into the history of America, I mean, we have not been kind to our our minority brothers and sisters in this country. And, you know, I never really thought about the fact, the weight of Sam being the, you know, representing America, saying, I'm going to be Captain America, and I am a black man, and I represent all the things, all the weight that this country's put on our backs. And I'm still like, I don't care. I'm going to do this for me, because I may not agree with everything and I don't like it, but I'm still an American, and this is my country too. And I love that is where they've taken this character, right? They've got the old of the, you got Bucky saying, oh, forget about all that, just be Captain America. And then later, I loved how later he's like, hey, me and Steve, when we talked about this, we didn't even think about what it would mean for a black man to be Captain America, and we're sorry that we decided for you that this is what you should get, you know. And that's, I thought that was really powerful, and I give Marvel a lot of credit for going there.
And I just can't. I'm looking forward to this final episode.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like, and what they did was, by the time, you know, we don't see what the new Wakandan Captain America suit looks like, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome. But by the time he opened that, it really felt earned. Like, I loved it. You know, on one hand, you have Isaiah, who's had all these horrible things to him. Of course, he thinks that he shouldn't fight for America. He shouldn't become Captain America. That, you know, this country's taken too much from the black community. That he doesn't owe America anything. And on one hand, you have Sam, who is, you know, he's already a soldier, and he saw what Captain America. He saw the best of what America can be. Yeah. And I like that he is making this choice for himself. Like, I can be the best. I can represent two things. I can represent Black America, and I can also represent what the best of America can be. And I can be that that beacon. I can be that shining light of what the promise of America. And so when he opens that, you feel that, right? You're just like, man, you know, I can't wait.
For that, you get a shield and you throw it at trees.
Yeah, that was a cool. Hey, I'm a sucker for a good training montage. And you know, speaking of that, I do like how they're giving him his own fighting style, because he's not, you know, he's not a super soldier, so he's not just going to stand there.
It seems like he's going to use the shield a lot more than.
Well, he's going to use the shield. Well, like the way he flips and stuff, like he's moving like he has wings, right? So he realizes, he obviously doesn't know he's got a super suit. I mean, listen, it's Marvel. So what they're going to do is give him a super Wakanda suit, and then he'll just be able to do, you know, he'll be able to take punches from the Hulk.
He can't get hurt when he gets punched.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be able to, like, take punches from the Hulk. And all in essence, he'll be a super soldier, but, you know, whatever. But I don't care. I think it's cool that he's not going to just be Steve Rogers. He's going to be Sam Wilson. He's going to be his own Captain America, right? And I think that's pretty cool how they're going to do that. So I'm at the very end of the episode, before the post credits, when John Walker was making his, I love the comments, the memes. People are like, when you decide to make your own Walmart version of Captain America's shield, he's banging on some metal. But you know, right when Falcon opens up when Sam opens up the case, and all the kids are like, my whole family's like sitting on the edge of the seat, and then it cuts the credits. Everyone's like, "Oh, come on!" I was like, "Ah!" So that was pretty cool.
We'll see it this week, everyone.
Oh, okay. So did you want to add anything to that? We'll get to the last part. The things I don't like about this.
What do you not like about it?
So there's not a lot to not like. There's a couple things though. One, the Flag Smashers,
the
I don't
guys?
care about them at all. Like, this show has a villain problem because I don't care about any of the villains other than maybe John.
Red Hand thing, like, oh, okay.
I just don't care. I don't care what they're doing. I don't care why they're there. I don't care who the power broker is. I like Agent Carter, but I don't really care what she's doing really either. I'm just like, I don't care. I feel like
thankfully it hasn't overshadowed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like their development and stuff.
Yeah, I'm really thankful that we've had John Walker because he's been about the only like interesting kind of foil to Sam and Bucky. Mm-hmm. Everybody else has been like, they have these meetings where they're like, we got to change the world. We're not terrorists, but we're going to blow people up.
Yeah.
Oh, they're here. Punch, punch, run away.
We just want everything to be like how it was before we got kicked out of the houses when people came back.
That's the hard part is they brought up some interesting points. And I like what they did. And then, so there's a rumor that apparently that this show originally, before COVID, was about it. They were going to release a virus. And that's what the show was about. And then they didn't film they had to stop filming because of COVID. And they decided to go back in and restructure the plot. So that's possibly why it seems so disjointed with those characters a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's been, for me, it's been a real, like, every time they're on the screen, I check my Twitter account. I'm just like, whatever. These guys they have not been good villains. I mean, Marvel does occasionally have a villain issue sometimes. They've gotten better about it, but these characters feel very much like the Dark Elves in Thor: The Dark World, where you're just like, I don't care. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever.
I was more looking forward to Madam Hydra than...
Yes. I'm much more interested in what's going to happen with John Walker and like I said, Hydra, and I'm more interested in just seeing Sam and Bucky like become the White Wolf and Captain America than I am about the White Wolf or whatever he decides to be. I also, one thing I also like too is I do like I've liked the character growth. We haven't talked much about Bucky. I also like how I like how he's still really powerful. I like how they showed, like, when he was in characters Winter Soldier, he was a complete badass. But he's been getting his ass kicked a lot when he's not Winter Soldier because his whole skill set is to murder, right? He's trying to learn how to be a hero and not kill people.
Yeah.
So I think that's why at times he's seen not as tough.
Hold back just enough.
Yeah, he's holding back. When he was with the Winter Soldier, he's trying to knife Steve Rogers in the face, right? There was no holding back. Now he's actually holding back, just like when they were in Madripoor, when he's like, you're the Winter Soldier, you got to be the Winter Soldier, and he wasn't holding back. He mopped those fools in like 3 seconds, right? So anybody who said this, like, well, they've kind of depowered Bucky, I don't think they have. I just think Bucky's trying to become a new person, and I thought they've done a good job of kind of showing that, who he's becoming. But the last thing I haven't liked about the show, and it's also kind of a problem WandaVision had, I think they'll get it, I don't think Marvel's really nailed the TV part of this yet. So, like, they really want to be a movie, but they want to stretch it out over 6 hours. Well, to be a TV show, sometimes you have to have all these side plots, right, to fill extra time. But you have to give enough episodes to let those side plots play out, and they haven't really done that. Yeah. So the shows they're a little too long to be a movie, but they're a little too short to be a TV show, right? So, like, I'm not saying they need to be 15, 20 episodes. I think maybe 10 episodes or even, like one. I get, and I guess they don't want to commit to the extra money, but they do need to figure out a way where if they're going to introduce some of these extra stuff to fill time, they've got to figure a way to wrap it up a little bit better and feel a little more fulfilling. That's been my only kind of criticism, like with Wanda. Same thing with Wanda. You'd watch 20 minutes, and the moment you got into it, it was over. And then, and then they move, and all of a sudden then it's over. And they have to wrap all this stuff up at the end. And it just, I don't think they've quite nailed that movie TV thing
they want
quite
the Mandalorian
yet.
Format. That's what they're trying. They want that Mandalorian format where you kind of have the overarching story.
Yeah.
And they're able to do all these little things in between.
But the problem is
and they can't translate that to Marvel.
Well, the problem is Mandalorian really is a TV show. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end story that continues on.
These are just long, short stories.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, that's a good point. These are like anthology stories that turn into one big story at the end of each season of Mandalorian. Where these shows, they want it to be a one long movie, but they're not quite making it long enough to make it a really. They're neither good movies or good TV shows. They're something totally different, and they're great for what they are. But I don't know. I think they'll figure it out as they go. But that's been my only kind of complaint. I noticed it in WandaVision really a lot, and I've kind of also noticed it in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I do like these being 40 minutes. That seems to be kind of the sweet spot. That was also kind of the sweet spot with The Mandalorian. But I don't know. They'll figure that part out. But anyway.
Enjoying the heck out of it.
But either way, I'm really excited for the finale. Real quickly before we answer a couple questions and get out of here. Any final thoughts? Anything you think is going to happen in the finale other than we obviously know they're going to get their suits?
I predict that we're going to see Nick Cage.
All right. I think we're going to see old Steve Rogers.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I forgot he's still alive.
I think we're going to get one final Steve Rogers goodbye.
I forgot he was still. I completely forgot that he was still alive.
Yeah, he's still technically alive as far as I know.
Yeah, for some reason in my head I just thought he was dead.
Well, they keep talking about him like he's dead and gone, but I don't know. I think we might get a cameo from him at the end, and probably a Nick Fury. I also think they're really setting up two things. They're setting up Young Avengers, and they're setting up the Thunderbolts, which is like a kind of anybody who's not familiar with Thunderbolts, it's a little bit like the Suicide Squad for Thunderbolt Ross, where he gets a bunch of villains and teams them up into a superhero gang.
Yeah,
and they're led by Baron Zemo.
Yeah, Baron Zemo is like the leader, and I think Madam Hydra had something to do with it too.
Well, and you have the Red Hulk, which I won't spoil who the Red Hulk is for anybody, so I have a sneaking suspicion they might be introducing the Red Hulk at some point. We'll see. But anyway, that's it. Other than that, I'm really excited. I think it's been a really good show, and I can't wait to watch the finale tomorrow. All right. Lastly, before we get out of here, we had some questions from people. Ryan.
Yeah. So if you look at our Facebook page, we put up a post. I mean, if you guys got anything you want to ask us, or anything that you just want to hear us talk about, that's what we put up here. And we got a couple of good ones today. So David, he wants to know, he said he'd love to know how a battle royale plays out with Leatherface, Pennywise, Freddy Krueger, Jason, and Michael Myers. So I'm going to say battle royale is like WWE.
We got Pennywise. Hang on, we got Pennywise, Leatherface, Jason, Michael Myers, and Freddy?
Yes.
Okay.
So Pennywise, who's the first one that's tossed out?
First one that's tossed out is Pennywise because he feeds on fear, and none of these people are afraid because they're all psychopaths.
Yeah, that's true. Their fear incarnates, especially when you got someone like Freddy.
I also think, I don't know, I think Michael Myers and Leatherface immediately kill each other because neither one of them are supernatural, and they're both psychos.
So we have Pennywise let's just say Freddy Krueger picks up Pennywise, tosses him into the crowd.
Yeah.
People get murdered in the crowd.
He pops him like a balloon and then throws his floating small
and then
spider body.
Michael Myers and Leatherface, they both go and they come off the ropes. They come at each other and they both clothesline each other at the same time.
Well, so they're both angry because they pretty much have the same style. They're both wearing coveralls and like a face on their face. So they immediately go after each other. They try to clothesline each other, but Leatherface has his chainsaw out, and Michael Myers has his big giant knife out, and so Michael Myers gets his head chopped off. At the same time, he stabs Leatherface right in the head with his butcher knife. So they're just both immediately dead. And since they're supernatural, since they're just people, crazy people, they're dead.
Yeah. So now we're left with Freddy Krueger and Jason.
Yep. And I think we saw this movie play out.
Yes.
I don't know how. I'm going to say Jason's going to win because Freddy only really gets his powers in the dream world. And so if you're in the real world, all he's got is a couple little knife hands. So
yeah, that's true.
I'm going to guess, and Michael Myers feels no pain, can't die, and is just unstoppable. So I'm sure he'd stab him a bunch of times, and then Jason would take his and chop off his hand with his little knife thing.
Yeah.
And then he'd probably just chop Freddy into a bunch of pieces, and that'd be it. And then he'd go into the crowd and start killing all the spectators.
Jason just goes in the crowd and just
and then Jason would go into the crowd. He'd take everyone's weapons, and then he'd just start murdering people with chainsaws and glove hands. Yeah, I'm gonna say Jason.
I think that's a pretty good representation of how that battle royale would play out. Thank you.
Thanks, David. That was a great question.
That was an excellent question.
Yes.
Next one we have up from Jeff, who's our guest host. Jeff.
Yeah, on the last episode.
Also says right here, Diamond top fan. Just so you guys know. He wants to know if now that your Star Wars tattoo is complete, what's next, Brian?
So any of you who haven't followed me on Facebook, I finally finished my Star Wars piece. I don't feel like disrobing, but it's all done. What's next? What's next for me is a nice little break from getting tattoos. As much as I love my sleeve, chest, back tattoo, always healing, always rubbing on this goop that you got to put on, this goopy goop that you got to put on to let it heal. Gets really obnoxious. You have to have I always have these special t-shirts that I ruin because I have to put one on when I go to bed so I don't get this aquifer all over my sheets. And so it's that's the part of tattooing that no one tells you is all the healing aspect of it. But and they're not exactly the cheapest thing in the world. So I'm looking forward to just taking a break and not doing anything for a little while. But I do love my tattoo artist. She is the absolute best. And I'm clearly hooked on these tattoos. So I do have some other projects that I'm kind of kicking around in my head. I don't know exactly yet what I want to do. I know I want to do a Superman tattoo. The original tattoo, the first tattoo I ever had, which has been since covered up by Darth Vader here, was a Superman tattoo. So I thought it'd be kind of poetic to get another Superman tattoo, but one that I really like from my artist. So I'll probably do something with Superman. I don't know yet whether I want to do a half sleeve, a partial sleeve, a couple scenes. I have some really cool ideas for some 80s stuff that I got kicking around. Some Ninja Turtles, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, DeLorean, Transformers. I haven't quite figured out, but whatever I do next is definitely going to be on this arm. Whether it's a Superman standalone or whatever, I don't know if I'm going to do another full sleeve, but I'll probably do another half sleeve at least. I don't really want to tattoo my chest anymore because it kind of hurts. And I definitely don't want to tattoo my armpit again.
Yes, I can't imagine how much that hurt.
Yeah, that was my kind of updated. Yeah, it's not all the way tattooed, as you can see. My armpit, there's still some there, but yeah, that hurt a lot. So I don't think I'll be doing that on this arm, but other than that, I don't know. So definitely something Superman, probably something I was kind of kicking around, my favorite things from my childhood, the things that I really, kind of the things that influenced me when I was younger a lot. But Star Wars was always the thing that influenced me the most, so I don't know if I want to do technically yet another kind of same tattoo, but I don't know. But I'm definitely going to do something Superman, Jeff, which I'm sure will make you really happy. How about you, Ryan? Are you ever going to get a tattoo?
Yeah, that was part 2 of Jeff's question. My idea that I want for my tattoo is because yours started off with your family. That was how your whole thing started.
Yep. Me and my wife have matching, and then that's me and my wife and daughters. And that says West in Star Wars. Right.
And so my idea is to get an Abraham Lincoln hat, just like the tall kind of stovepipe hat, and then have a little mouse underneath it with a teal bow over one ear. Because ever since my daughter was a baby, I always called her Miss Mouse, and her favorite color is teal currently. And my son, my oldest, is Lincoln. That's why I would get the Lincolnette, and I want to put it right here on my chest, over my heart. That's the tattoo idea I've had in my head forever. And I just need to suck it up and find a tattoo artist and sit down and have it done. I mean, I'm fully committed to doing it. I just need to
I like it. I got a question though.
Follow through with that.
How about this? Your idea, but they both have lightsabers.
The hat has a lightsaber?
Yes. The hat has an arm with a lightsaber.
Like an arm sticking out.
Yeah. I mean, something to think about.
I'll put that on. But that's my idea for a tattoo. I've been wanting to do that for years now. I just need to suck it up and find someone to do it.
Yeah,
maybe after I get back.
Yeah, look around your area, and I just, it seems like most artists share their art on Instagram, and you can kind of see what they do and what styles they like. But cool, man. Yeah, that's it. I'd recommend it. I was kind of not against tattoos, but I wasn't necessarily pro tattoos before I got hooked. And a lot of it had to do with I had a really bad experience the first time, and it's finding the right artist and finding somebody that you can work with, and they bring your inspirations to life, and I love it. Plus, I like the way my wife looks at me now that I have tattoos. That's a plus.
Yeah. And see, I'm not quite sure how my wife would feel about me with tattoos.
Well,
so
get some and you'll find out.
Yeah, still married, so.
They won't divorce you over some tattoos.
Yeah.
Might give you more kisses.
You never know.
Hey.
Okay, let's see. We had a question from Christine,
Yes.
but I forgot to have open.
I know what it is.
You know what it is? Okay.
I do. So Christine messaged us after our last show. She's like, "Oh, I had a question. I forgot to ask you." So she was really upset because she was late at night trying to grab something out of the dishwasher and she couldn't find it. And she wanted to know, how come dishwashers do not have a light like a fridge does so you can find what you're looking for when it's dark and late?
That's a very interesting question. I never thought about that.
So I'm going to say the technical reason is because there's a lot of water and you'd probably have to make sure you waterproof it really well.
You don't want anything electrical to be able to get
water inside of it, short out your whole washer machine. But I mean, I think that's probably why they don't. But I agree with you. They should come up with a reason, because when you are looking in the back and you're just trying to find your favorite spork and there's all the silverware, and they always put it in the bottom in the back so you can't see anything. You got to, and I don't want to roll the whole thing out. That's just wasted energy. I should be able to look in there, see what I want, and grab it. I agree with you. Is there any other appliances that you can think of, Ryan, that either have lights that shouldn't or should have lights that don't?
Have lights and shouldn't?
Why do dryers have lights? You just take the clothes out.
That's good. I never thought about that one. What about like a big freezer? They always have lights. Those are always good.
I don't know if like that. I don't know if the ones that look like coffins have lights.
I'm thankful for the lights on my coffee maker because I'm still like half asleep. So
I bought a coffee maker that doesn't really light up, and it's the worst. I can never see what time it is on it. Never sets of buttons. I hate it. It's a good coffee maker,
see,
though.
the buttons light up on mine, and so I can like button. There we go.
It's not really an appliance, but I wish my big wall clock had a light on it. I can't see it at night.
Yeah.
It just ticks and doesn't do anything productive.
I just realized I don't have any clocks in this room.
That's why you never know what time it is, Ryan.
That's why you got a phone.
Yeah, well, that's all I can think of right now. I don't understand why the dryer has a light. It seems wasteful.
That's all I got. And Christine, thank you very much for your question. We appreciate it.
Yes. You always have the best questions. You're the most thoughtful ones.
Yes.
And if that wasn't the right question, I apologize. I'm pretty sure that's the one you asked. Anyway, do we have any more questions, or is that it?
What's that?
I said, do we have any more questions, or is that it?
No, that was it. We are good.
All right. Well, I think on that note, we should probably just end the show. It's late for you. It's work night.
It's only 12:30.
We've been going for an hour and 18 minutes. So, all right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. We'd say we're trying to do this more regularly, but we've been saying that forever. So right now it seems like you get one a month. We'll try and move that up when, I don't know, life goes back to normal again. Maybe.
Brian and I literally are just like, we both texted today and we said, life has been a literal grind. We can't take this anymore. We just need to talk about other stuff that's not
things that aren't sad going on. or make us angry. So anyway,
yeah,
we'll try and do more of these. We got some, I don't know, there's some fun stuff coming up we can talk about.
And if you would like to be a guest on our show, please let us know.
Jeff was a
Jeff
guest.
came on, and I think he nailed it.
There was 3 people who said he was way better than Ryan has ever been.
I would like to talk to those people, but I'm pretty sure one of them is Jeff. But
I mean,
himself.
Jeff and his son,
and his
grandma and his mom.
Yeah.
No, Jeff did a good job. But if any of you guys like to be on the show, we'd be more than happy to have you on. But just reach out and we'll work it out. So, but until next time, everyone, thank you for joining us. Get your vaccines if you haven't had them. Stay awesome. Stay safe. And, I don't know. Enjoy your life as much as you can.
Stay nerdy, everybody. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, till next time, everyone. Be awesome.
Rock on.
Pew, pew, pew. Double guns. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew, pew. I don't know what that was. What are you doing? Yeah, there you go. The Force will be with you always.